Hi, everybody. It's meteorologist Joe Chaffee on a busy Saturday. We have a lot going on, so we're going to get right to it. And first off, as we go through into this evening across much of the Northeast area from Pennsylvania to New Jersey, Long Island, Connecticut, southeastern New York, and over toward Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts, we've had some gusty winds today running at about 30 to 40 miles an hour earlier, but they've dropped off now, but still getting some gusts in the 20s to around 30 miles an hour in some places, and you can see it here. Temperatures are in the mid 40s. We've got some clouds, and the map is updating right now. There's some colder air to the north that'll be filtering down during the evening hours and for tonight, and gradually these winds are also going to drop off as higher pressures begin to build in. We have a storm out to the east and high pressure to the west, so the pressure gradient is tight. In other words, the change in pressure relative to the distance is short. So you have a big change in pressure, relatively short distance, and the result is that you get wind and you get some gusty winds. So that's all going to relax. And our next focus of attention is going to be this rather large area of moisture that has come out of the Gulf states and covers Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas. There's some moderate rain, even a few patches of heavy rain here in the yellows showing up on the radar, and that's all moving to the northeast. And by the way, this is all going to eventually wind up in the Carolinas and through Georgia and into Virginia, and there's going to be a pretty decent rainfall for you guys over there. So this is all good news. Same for Tennessee, as all of this is lifting up to the northeast. Let's take a look. This is the brand new NAM model from this afternoon, and I'm just going to roll it back a little bit. What's happening is that we've got this lead piece of energy and moisture that's running out ahead of the main low that's going to be coming out of the Gulf states for Tuesday. But there's this lead area that moves northeastward and will be affecting areas in the northeast and also affecting areas around the Great Lakes. Seeing some snows, there'll probably be some snow in Chicago out of this and through much of Wisconsin and Michigan, mostly of the light variety. And we'll show you the snow amounts in a moment. And actually, the NAM generates some heavier snows around Chicago during the day on Sunday, so we'll see if that winds up playing out. And there's some rain that moves in, probably rain and a little wet snow that moves in during the Giants-Pittsburgh game tomorrow night. And then we get into some light snows into the New York City area overnight, Sunday night into Monday morning, some little patches of slightly heavier snow. This first area of moisture is going to weaken some, but one of the takeaways from all of this is the fact that the NAM model has been ahead of the curve with regards to this moisture. The other models have been playing catch up to it. So now we have even the GFS, which up until a couple of runs ago showed hardly anything happening, now showing some moisture. Now I only have it out through 36 hours, so I'm just going to backtrack to the run right before this from earlier today. And you can see there's light snow that moves throughout much of the Northeast, and there's a first lead wave that comes out. But this is the more important wave that develops. And by the way, then during the day tomorrow, we have some light snows that develop in the Dakotas, parts of Minnesota, and back over through northern Wyoming and Montana. And then there's some snow that comes in to the Pacific Northwest. All right, so this low kind of moves out. So whatever happens tomorrow morning is done. Looking at a coating to an inch. That could happen even in and around New York City, Long Island, and northern New Jersey, north of Route 78, and back through northern areas of Pennsylvania. But here comes that second low. The primary low winds up trying to go up into the Ohio Valley, and there'll be a secondary low that will develop here. Again, the NAM is faster with bringing precipitation in here by Tuesday morning. Now, some of this is aloft. The NAM does overstate these things sometimes, and you can take a look. It actually brings in a pretty decent amount of rain in the radar echoes, and you can also see that rain that's down through the Carolinas, so everybody participates there. The primary low is going to try to go to northern Ohio. A secondary is going to form off the Virginia coast. That may cause some snows to break out on Tuesday ahead of the main area of moisture in the Northeast. So we're going to have to watch that. There could be a little bit of a front end snowfall out of this. and then gradually that low moves offshore. The secondary, you kind of have three lows here: the one in Canada, the one, the dying primary that moves out of northeastern Ohio, and then you have this low that's forming off the New Jersey coast that's going to be lingering there. This is the NAMS view. We're going to now switch off to the GFS model, and you can see the GFS is slower. It only has that precipitation arriving later in the day on Tuesday. And also with the first thing, you can see what it does. It does bring some light snows through here, and then that kind of weakens during the day on Monday. And here comes that second one, also bringing some decent rains into the drought areas in the Carolinas and the fire-stricken areas as well. So great news there. Same for Tennessee, Kentucky, and West Virginia. And then as we go into later this week, there's a polar front here. There's very cold air that's coming out of Canada and spreading across the United States and eventually into the eastern states. The coastal low wants to hang on the GFS, so there might be some more moisture that gets generated here with the arrival of the polar front, and you can see how it sort of gels up across the Northeast. This will be Wednesday night and Thursday, and makes for some snows up into New England as that low intensifies. Going to watch this just in case. Sometimes these things can surprise a little bit if the wave's a little further south and a little flatter, and the cold air can come in a little faster. There might be a back-end surprise for areas around New Jersey and New York City and southern New England. We'll see. And then out it goes. And after that, we have a lot of cold air that comes in for Thursday, Friday, and for next weekend. Now, here's where we're getting into the point now when we go into the long range, and I said this yesterday, and I'm going to repeat this again. It's very hard to start focusing on the specific points from model run to model run. I mean, you will drive yourself to drink if you live and die by each of these model runs. But the takeaway is that something is going to be coming out of the flow in the central U.S. and pushed to the East Coast. Now, prior runs wanted to have some kind of storm along the East Coast. This has more of a cold front that moves on through with another shot of cold air on the GFS, and then it really doesn't do too much after that. But the prior runs to this were trying to show a couple of coastal lows, and today's European goes down that road, and we're going to switch off now to our friendly neighborhood European model, and you'll see it here. Just wish I could show you the whole European run. But this is for next Sunday, which has a low, where the GFS tries to have it as a cold front with a low up to the north. It has a surface low down in Mississippi, which it moves east-northeastward off the mid-Atlantic coast and intensifies as it moves offshore, and it shows accumulating snows throughout much of the Northeast, and including the coast and down even to northern areas of the mid-Atlantic states. So we're going to have to watch to see how the models flip back and forth on this, but the signals are there that something may try to happen next weekend. And then after that, we've got more cold air that comes down for later in the period after day 10. So it looks like a cold pattern is definitely setting up now for the middle part of December, and maybe it will last even into the latter part of December. We'll see how that all plays. I'll switch off now to the upper air so you can take a look at what the jet stream is doing. And we'll go to the wide view. And this is the European. We'll go back. And okay, so here's today. And here we go through tomorrow. Now here's that first system for Monday, Sunday night Monday. It's right in there, and it's just enough of a little short wave of energy to pick up that Gulf moisture and generate those light snows. Here's that southern system that's coming out. Here's the one that's up in the north. And if you remember back a few days ago, the models were trying to make these two systems together and make for a big storm up into the Great Lakes, but that's not going to happen. Instead, because of the timing of this, you see that system that comes out for Tuesday is right here on the European, and then you have that western system there. So they stay as distinct, separate entities. And then that western system rotates around, and when it gets to the East Coast on late Thursday, it strengthens considerably. And the Europeans' view would be that you'll have a frontal passage with another round of precipitation here on Thursday, as opposed to what the GFS implies, which is just after this coastal low goes out, that it just basically overwhelms with cold air. I think either possibility is reasonable. We'll have to see which model has a better handle on this. And we still have this very active Pacific jet with systems all along it that are going to be moving in. We also have a big upper high that's building up north of Alaska, and that is creating, a pool of cold air that's going to continue to come on down, and that's part of the reason why we're getting into this colder pattern. A lot of that cold air that's been up in Siberia here is now extending itself into Canada, and you can see it there on the flow, and you still have that southern jet here just like that, so it just moves right along. And then as we go into the latter part of the period, and this is for next weekend, this is the system that the European makes a low in the Gulf states and takes out to the northeast to try to make some kind of snowfall for the northeast and northern mid-Atlantic states for next weekend. And overall, now we only go out to day 10, but you can still pick out that there's cold air flow that's trying to establish itself from Canada. You've got the active southern jet, a lot of things going on here as we go into the long range. So it's going to be a pretty interesting time ahead. I'll show you the temperatures, in terms of what's above and below normal. And, as we go through, here's that below normal cold air that takes over later this week and lasts us into early of the week of December 11th. And then after that storm goes by and it moves out, a bit of a break, and then you have more cold air that's building up throughout much of Western Canada. So this is all probably destined to come down southeastward. It's been quite a change in terms of what the profile is in Canada now that we have the opening for some colder air to arrive. So we'll keep you updated on everything. There'll be posts up on the website. I'll have those up there. And if you are in the New York, New Jersey, Long Island, Hudson Valley, Eastern Pennsylvania, Connecticut area, you can download my app and subscribe to my forecast. It's just 99 cents a month. You get an ad-free experience. You get all my posts and occasional videos, additional videos as well, geared just for the app. So just click on the link that's up here on the video, and if you're interested, go right ahead. And of course, don't forget latest posts on the website, meteorologistjoechaffe.com, with the Joe Stradamus long range post. Angry Ben posts on the long range on nycweathernow.com, and of course, Long Island weather on weatherlongisland.com.